Hi everyone, I'm Rincey and this is Rincey Reads. Today I'm going to be doing a review of Seconds by Bryan O'Malley. This story follows Katie, who is a pretty successful chef. She is the head of her own kitchen and she is getting ready to open her own restaurant. But then suddenly things start to come up and she starts to have some troubles. There's some problems in terms of getting the restaurant ready in the timeline that she wanted and in the budget that she needs it to be done in. Her ex-boyfriend comes back into town and it brings about all of these emotions, things like that. She's having a little bit of a fling with one of the other chefs at the restaurant she's currently working at. So all of these problems start to come up and then suddenly Katie is faced with a way to be able to go back in time and change some of her decisions so that way she can change the outcome that she currently has to deal with. And it basically just follows Katie as she is faced with the effects of her decisions as well as the effects of going back on those decisions and making different decisions. In case you guys don't know, Bryan O'Malley is the author and creator of the Scott Pilgrim series. So if you've read those books and you enjoyed them, you will probably like this story. If you haven't read those books or you read them and you didn't enjoy them, I feel like you should still give this story a chance. I will admit I haven't read the Scott Pilgrim series, but this one was so up my alley. First, let's just talk about the book. Now this in and of itself is just like a beautiful cover for a book, but then you can take this slip cover off and there's just beautiful art all along the actual book itself that is so gorgeous, and all of this sort of plays into the story itself. You will see these images occur in the story and they all have very specific and significant meanings. The art in the book itself is also quite beautiful and quite a similar style. Some of them are pages like this with individual panels. Some of them are like this where you have one panel per page and you're getting a nice view of the room or of the scene that is happening. Some of them are full page spreads and you can see just something happening. This one is the basement of the restaurant that she currently works in that shows the kitchen and all the different rooms that are happening in this restaurant and all of the different people working in the rooms. And honestly, like, the characterization in this book is drawn so well and it's so beautiful and cute, and I just really like the way this book was drawn. In terms of story, I was pretty into it. There are certain things that didn't quite sit well for me. There is an element of suspension of disbelief that needs to happen here. There are magical and mystical elements in this story. So whenever those things occur, obviously you need to turn off the overly logical part of your brain in order to pretend like those things are real and those things are possible. There are some things that aren't explained very well or in detail, but I think that's because that's not the point of the story. I do have to admit Katie is a little bit of an irritating character, but she's also kind of like funny irritating. I found her kind of endearing. She's very sarcastic. There's kind of like an overall narrator happening, like a third person narrator in this story, but sometimes like Katie talks to the narrator, which I think is a really fun little device that is used in this story. Also, Katie just makes some poor decisions. Well, actually I shouldn't say some, she makes a lot of poor decisions in this story, which might be irritating for some people, but I feel like is kind of understandable. I feel like if you're someone who's in your like mid to late 20s, you can relate to this character a lot. Katie, I think, is 28, or she's getting close to hitting 30. I think they made mention of that. And so I feel like anyone who's just sort of gone through life a little bit and has things in their past that they wish that they could change or go back and redo again, then you can definitely understand how Katie feels in some of these situations. While you wouldn't necessarily agree with everything that Katie does in the story, I feel like it makes sense, and I feel like Katie is just fun and interesting. In the end, I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoyed it. It's a really great standalone graphic novel, and I think it gives you a really good sense of Bryan O'Malley's style. So maybe if you haven't read the Scott Pilgrim series yet, give this one a try first. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Seconds by Bryan O'Malley. If you read this book, feel free to leave your comments down below letting me know what you thought. Or if you read the Scott Pilgrim series, feel free to leave comments down below letting me know what you thought of that series, since I haven't actually read it yet. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Thanks for watching.